Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in the series of emergence of sociology, this is going to be the last video, and here in this video we will be studying about the intellectual influences affecting the emergence of sociology. So क्या वो इंटेलेक्चुअल यानी बुद्धिजीवी वर्ग का इन्फ्लुएंस था जिसने सोशोलॉजी के इमर्जेंस में योगदान दिया? सोशोलॉजी इमर्स्ड एज अ रिस्पॉन्स टू द फोर्सेस ऑफ चेंज. अभी इतना सारा हमने ये पढ़ा है कि इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन आया, कमर्शियल रेवोल्यूशन आया, साइंटिफिक रेवोल्यूशन आया एंड फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन आया. दीज आर व्हाट? दीज आर फोर्सेस ऑफ चेंजेस. तो सोशोलॉजी का जो इमर्जेंस हुआ है, इट वॉज ड्यू टू और इन रेफरेंस टू और इन रिस्पॉन्स टू द forces of change which took place during the 18th and the 19th centuries in Europe. Right? The ideas that we have already discussed in early sociological writings are essentially ideas of that period. तो और इसका reflection we can see in the sociological writing of during that time. Writings of which sociologists like Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, then you have Max Weber, and all these people who were known as the founding father of sociology, and also Karl Marx. The thinkers of the Enlightenment of 18th century affected much of the early sociology. And Enlightenment जो 18th century में जो चल रहा था उसको भी उसका भी इफेक्ट किस पे हुआ? सोशोलॉजी पे. एंड दिस एनलाइटनमेंट इंक्लूड्स व्हाट? all these thinkers who belongs to the intellectual strata that we have already studied about: Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, Locke, and their ideas about how society should be. The Enlightenment appears as the most appropriate point of departure in the study of the origin of sociological theory for various reasons, including those which going to be discussed below. है ना? Enlightenment appear as the most appropriate point of departure, right? क्या है? जब Enlightenment वो एक पॉइंट माना जाता है जहाँ से सोशोलॉजिकल थ्योरीज़ का ओरिजिन आना स्टार्ट होता है हमारी डिसिप्लिन में. Firstly, a scientific approach to the study of society dates back to the tradition of enlightenment. Enlightenment ही वो ड्यूरेशन ऑफ चेंज था, प्रोसेस ऑफ चेंज था, जहाँ हमें पता चला कि एक साइंटिफिक अप्रोच इज़ वेरी नेसेसरी टू स्टडी द सोसाइटी. Right? The 18th century thinkers began more consistently than any of their procedures to study the human condition in the scientific way using the methods of the natural sciences. 18th century के ही thinkers वो लोग थे जिन्होंने बहुत ही ज़्यादा emphasize किया इस चीज़ पे कि हमें जो methods है वो नेचुरल साइंसेस के यूज़ करने हैं ह्यूमन कंडीशंस की साइंटिफिक स्टडी करने के लिए. दे कॉन्शियसली अप्लाइड टू साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल ऑफ एनालिसिस टू द स्टडी ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स एंड देयर नेचर एंड सोसाइटी. और उन्होंने जानबूझ के कॉन्शियसली ये एक एम्फेसिस किया कि हम जो साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल्स हैं साइंस के डिसिप्लिन से उठाए हुए, that methods we are going to use in the study of human beings and their society. Secondly, the 18th century thinkers upheld reason as a measures to judge social institutions and their suitability for human nature. 18th century के thinkers थे, उन्होंने reasons को बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेंटर स्टेज में रखा as a measure to judge the social institutions and their suitability for human nature. तो जितने भी social institutions हैं उनका क्या एक importance रहता है society में, that was kept as at the center. The human beings according to them are the essential rational, and this rationality can lead them to freedom of thought and action. And these thinkers used to believe that what is very important, rationality and rational human beings are the most central and most important, because that is the only way they can have freedom of thought and action. Thirdly, the 18th century thinkers believed that the human beings are capable of attaining perfection. By criticizing and changing the social institution, they can create for themselves even greater degree of freedom which in turns would enables them increasingly to actualize the potentially creative powers. तो 18th सेंचुरी के थिंकर्स का ही बिलीव ऐसा था कि अगर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को क्रिटिसाइज और चेंज किया जाएगा, सोशल फोर्सेस उनको चेंज करने की कोशिश करेंगी, तो सोशल इंस्टीट्यूशंस क्या होंगे, वहाँ पे ग्रेटर अमाउंट ऑफ फ्रीडम इकट्ठा होगा. क्यों? बिकॉज हिस्टोरिकली उन्होंने देखा कि where earlier people used to be bounded by the religion, now people are open. Why? Because of the reason that we are, putting behind every social phenomena. Sociological thinkers are concerned with the these three assumption. एंड सोशोलॉजिकल थिंकर्स जो उस टाइम के थे 18th एंड 19th सेंचुरी के, दे ऑल्सो बिलीव्ड इन दीज criticizing and changing rationality and rational and reasons and method of the natural sciences. So sociological thinkers used to concern with that. Apart from them, three other intellectual influences current in the post enlightenment period influences emergence of sociology in Europe, they can be identified as. इसके अलावा ये रीज़न, रैशनल एंड क्रिटिसाइजिंग एंड चेंजिंग एंड नेचुरल साइंसेस के मेथड यूज़ करने के अलावा देयर वर 3 important points that were also considered as something that has influenced the emergence of sociology, which was the philosophy of history, the biological theory of evolution, and the surveys of social condition. These 3 intellectual influences are the precursor of sociology and are reflected in the writings of the early sociologists. So we will look at them one by one. The first is the philosophy of history. In the early part of the 19th century, the philosophy of history became the most important intellectual influences. The basic assumption of the philosophy was that society must have progressed through a series of steps from सिंपल टू कॉम्प्लेक्स स्टेज. फिलॉसफी ये बिलीव करता था कि जो समाज है वो सिंपल से कॉम्प्लेक्स की तरफ जा रहा है, यानी इफ़ देर इज़ अ यूनिसेलुलर ह्यूमन बीइंग देन इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ मल्टी सेलुलर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स एंड इट्स गोइंग टू बी मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स, दिस इज़ गोइंग टू बी मोर सिंपल. So we may be briefly assess the contributions of the philosophy of history to sociology as having been on philosophical side the notion of development and progress. On the scientific side, it has given the concept of philosophical in the historical periods and social types. So in the notions of development and process, we are looking at the scientific side, the philosophical side, and it has given us the concept of historical period and social types. The social thinkers who developed the philosophy of history, such as Saint-Pierre, Abbé Saint-Pierre, and Giambattista, were concerned with the whole of the society and not merely the political and economic or cultural aspect. I am not sure if this is the right pronunciation. If any one of you know, please do mention in the comment. Saint Pierre, I think this is going to be the pronunciation. This is Giambattista. I think this could be the next correct pronunciations. But I'm sorry if I am pronouncing it in a wrong manner. You can correct me in the comment down. So that was, they were concerned, these were the early philosopher who believed in the philosophy of history, and they were concerned with the whole of the society and not merely political, economic and cultural aspect. Because why? These were only the single aspects of the society as a whole. Later, the contribution of Comte, now the name of the founding father, Spencer, Marx and many others reflected and impacted the loss of this intellectual trend in their sociological writing. Second, we were looking at the biological theory of evolution, which has contributed into the emergence of sociology from the intellectual sphere. The influence of the philosophy of history was further reinforced by the biological theory of evolution. Sociology moved towards the evolutionary approach, seeking to identify and account for the principal stage in social evolution. Sociology भी जब फिलॉसफी एंड हिस्ट्री से आगे बढ़ता है तो वो एवोल्यूशनरी जो थ्योरीज़ बनाई गई थी पहले की, हाउ सोसाइटी इज़ मूविंग फ्रॉम सिंपल टू कॉम्प्लेक्स, उन सब में बिलीव करता है. इट टेंडेड टू बी मॉडल्ड ऑन बायोलॉजी, एंड ये जो एवोल्यूशन की थ्योरी थी दैट वाज क्लियरली इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम द बायोलॉजी डिसिप्लिन. as it is evident from the widely diffused conception of the society as an organism and from the attempt to formulate general terms of social evolution. Herbert Spencer and Durkheim are the good example of this kind. And Herbert Spencer looked at that phenomena on the how society progressed from simple to the complex society. So he tells a great amount of great classification of various societies from the past to the time that when he was writing. The third was the survey of the social condition. Social survey forms an important element in the modern sociology, and it emerged due to the two reasons. One was the growing conviction that the methods of the natural sciences should and could be extended to the study of human affairs, that human phenomena could be classified and measured. The other was the concern that the poverty, following the recognition that the poverty was not natural but social. The social survey is one of the principal methods in sociological inquiry. The basic assumption which underlines this method is that through the knowledge of the social condition, one can arrive at the solution and solve the social problem prevalent in the society. Now there are two very important things, and I think in the third year also, when you will be studying about the research methodology paper, and you will be looking at this term called survey, and in a very more precise manner, social survey. Because when you're talking about social survey, it's about the so basically social survey was definitely inspired from the natural sciences discipline, because they were already using this methodology and the method of collecting the data. But it was also because when you're doing the social survey, you're also trying to know the problems and their solution, and that solution can solve these social problems which is prevalent in the society, and that is why it became really really crucial and important. Now, these were the conditions that led to the emergence of sociology. I believe that this is going to be the last of this entire chapter. So, we have studied a lot. I think if we can sum it up in precise manner, then we can look at it as that we have studied about how social condition affect the ideas which people have, and how certain ideas changed taking place in the 18th and 19th century in Europe bothered social thinkers. Sociology thus grew essentially as a product of the reflections of the great thinkers and reflecting on society. We also learned about the sociologically significant themes of the commercial, French, and industrial revolution. Finally, we also read about intellectual influences such as philosophy of history, biological theories of evolution, and surveys of social condition, which affect the emergence of sociology in Europe. And then we also learn about the setting in which sociology as a discipline emerged in Europe. Okay, and I believe this sums up the topic that we always emphasized on, and that is the background of emergence of sociology. So I hope you understand, and if you do, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any question, you can comment down below. If you did not understand any point, I can again repeat it and make short video to just solve your problem. So this was the whole background behind the emergence of sociology. I hope you understood the kind of social conditions, the kind of economic and political condition that were prevalent at that time, and how they have influenced the intellectual strata, the scientist strata of the society, and how these people turn out to be the promoter or the founding fathers of the sociology. So take care till then. Bye bye. We'll meet with you in the next series or video. If you have any suggestion for the next series, I can take up your suggestion. If you don't, then we can go ahead with just knowing about Auguste Comte a bit, because he is the founding father of sociology. So a bit of Auguste Comte, and then we can directly jump to what is sociology, and what is the scope of sociology, what is the subject matter of sociology, and what is the nature of sociology. So that's all for today. Take care. Bye bye.